Okay, so before this video starts, I just wanted to take a second to use my platform, no matter how small it is, to try to make a difference here. And if you don't want to listen, then feel free to skip to the time on the screen. But with that being said, I've pretty much held my silence about everything happening in the world in my videos because, well, I just wanted it to be an escape for people because, I know that's what YouTube is for a lot of people, an escape from the world. But being a black man in America, and by the way, yes, I'm black, and I know I don't sound like it, but anyway, being a black man and witnessing everything that's been going on in the last few weeks has been terrifying, but hopeful at the same time. The protests, which have been mostly peaceful, have been honestly amazing to see. I mean, with everybody coming together for a cause, The deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor were some of the most, ridiculous, for lack of a better word, cases that I've ever seen because they should have never happened in the first place. But also notice how I said some of the most ridiculous, because, this kind of thing shouldn't be a regular occurrence. It shouldn't even be happening at all, but here we are protesting the exact same thing over and over and over again. But this is by far the most widespread protest. There are people literally in countries all over the world that are protesting this. And I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm just going to get to the point. We need to come together to not only call out racism in the world, but to condemn it and anyone in power who holds those types of beliefs. So in the description, you'll find 3 links. The first link is a donation link to George Floyd's Memorial Fund. This goes directly to George's family, and some of the money will be going towards his daughter's future. The second link is a donation link to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, but if you don't have the money to donate, then the third link is for you and you can still make a difference. This will open an already written email to the Minneapolis Police Department calling for the arrest of the other 3 officers involved in George Floyd's death. All you need to do is fill in your name and city where it's necessary and send it in. And if you want to get on me for talking about politics, then I don't know what to tell you. It's my channel, and it shouldn't even be a political issue in the first place. It's a human issue. So if you have a problem with any of this, then please leave, because I don't want you here anyway. Okay, so with all that being said, if you're protesting, please stay safe. If you're not, stay informed, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
You gotta perform, right? And so you just gotta go to work, man.
That's respect.
That's
respect. And I think one of the things for some, if you follow basketball or not, that you and Mike had in common is that it wasn't, hey, I'm going to take 8 games off this year to try to stay healthy. The mindset of knowing, like that to you is comical, right? To do that.
What the hell is that, man? I don't know what that is. That's crazy. Seriously, it's crazy. Like, you got a lot of people paying their hard-earned money to come watch you perform. Perform. It's your job to be in shape. It's your job to be strong enough to perform at that level every single night. And as a competitor, I'm not ducking shit. Like, it's not, oh my God, my back hurts, I'm sore, we got to play Vince Carter and Toronto Raptors tonight.
So first things first, rest in peace to the legend Kobe Bryant. But when you see the clip I showed at the start of the video, I'm sure that the first person you probably thought of was Kawhi Leonard. And while other players are sitting out games now, he's without a doubt the most obvious example since that's one of the things that he's become known for. But why is he even sitting out? Because while some support it so he can be healthy for the playoffs, other people don't like it because, he's a superstar and one of the best players in the league sitting out. But I don't think those people actually understand what's really going on here. So today, we're going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard's recent injury history, his performance in the playoffs, and overall why Kawhi Leonard has to sit games out. But before we begin, if you're new here, I'm Double D. I'm a huge basketball fan and I make NBA videos here on YouTube. So if you're also an NBA fan, or just a basketball fan in general, feel free to hit the sub button and click the bell to be notified when I upload more videos just like this one. Alright, let's get into the video. So like I said before, Kawhi Leonard has been one of the best players in the league and a top 5 player since last year's playoffs. And some people were putting him as the best player in the league for a short amount of time. And so it seemingly doesn't make that much sense that someone like him is sitting out so many games. But to actually understand, we need to go all the way back to 2017. This is the season that would see Kawhi Leonard become a superstar in the NBA. mainly in the playoffs, but he put up arguably his greatest game ever in Game 4 against the Grizzlies in the second round of the playoffs, putting up 43 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 6 steals, and shot 14 for 30 overall and 7 for 10 from 3. But when we get to the Western Conference Finals against Golden State, that's where things get controversial. In Game 1, the Spurs were curb stomping Golden State, and then Kawhi would first roll his ankle on David Lee's foot on the bench, and then sprain it after landing on Zaza Pachulia's foot, which has been debated since then whether it was intentional or not, and also was the main reason the NBA now calls this a flagrant foul. He'd miss the rest of that series, but the next season is where the confusion happens. So he would miss the first 27 games the next season due to an injury to his right quad, which is the key to everything in this entire video. He'd play 9 games, then strain his shoulder against the Suns, and then miss 3 more games, then play against the Denver Nuggets on January 13th. But just 4 days later on the 17th, he'd be ruled as out indefinitely for rehab for his quad injury. And this will lead to controversy as he was cleared by the Spurs medical staff but asked for a second opinion from his own doctors. And this is the reason that he didn't actually play for the rest of that season, is because his own doctors didn't clear him to play. But still, this led to tension between him and the rest of the team, with Tony Parker saying that his quad injury was, quote, 100 times worse, during a players-only meeting between Kawhi and the team. And that was the last straw for him, as he'd request a trade in the offseason. And he would be traded along with Danny Green to Toronto for DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl. From here, he would play, but on a managed schedule. He played 60 out of 82 games that season and averaged 26.5 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.8 steals while shooting 49, almost 50% overall, and 37% from 3. But he would go on to have one of the greatest playoff runs ever. 30.5 points, 9 rebounds, 1.7 steals, shooting 49% from the field and 38% from 3. He scores 732 points in the playoffs. That is 3rd all-time behind LeBron James in 2018 and Michael Jordan in 1992. And then would go on to win his 2nd ring and 2nd Finals MVP. He became the 3rd player in NBA history to win a ring and Finals MVP with 2 different teams, joining LeBron James and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and became the 1st player in NBA history to win a Finals MVP on both an Eastern Conference and Western Conference team. And so this is where the discussion started: does load management actually work? Well, now with the Clippers, we see that he's still sitting out games, mainly one of the games on a back-to-back, but this still begs the question, why does he do it? Well, there's actually more to it than just being healthy for the playoffs. And so next we're going to talk about the actual health reasoning behind it. And once you realize the actual reasoning, it's actually really understandable. So Kawhi at this point in his career has had a few injuries that have taken a toll on his body, but the most serious injury is without a doubt the injury to his right quad. Now, before I start talking about this, I just want to say that I don't have any experience in the medical field. This is all information that I found during research from people who are. So let's talk. According to Dr. Rajpal Brar, who's a physical therapist and the founder of 3CB Performance, Kawhi suffers from what's known as right quad tendinopathy. And this basically means that there's a breakdown in the fibers of his quad. And this causes pain and decreased function if he uses it too much, such as playing too many games in a row. And so this basically means that his quad injury is progressive and will continue to worsen the more he plays. According to Dr. Brar, there are 3 stages of tendinopathy. There's reactive tendinopathy, tendon disrepair, and degenerative tendinopathy. It's likely that Kawhi has stage 2 tendinopathy, which, according to the American Chiropractic Association, means that the tendon has already been damaged in some way and has no way of healing. And this is mostly due to chronic overloading of the tendon, which could be the case when we're talking about an athlete. And so what happens is when you use this damaged tendon, it's not only stiff, but it can actually damage it even more since it has no chance to heal. But keep in mind that he now has this in both of his legs since his left leg has been compensating for his right. But his left is not thought to be as bad as his right, only thought to be stage 1 and is still reversible with reduced load, sounds familiar, and sufficient rest, also sounds familiar. But the most unfortunate part about this whole situation is that it's degenerative, which means that he's going to be dealing with this probably for the rest of his career. And while it can be annoying, you also have to think about the long-term benefits. Some of you may remember a man by the name of Brandon Roy, and while he didn't have the same problem as Kawhi, he also played with a degenerative disease, but this affected the cartilage in his knees. And so with this, he would play just 5 seasons with the Blazers and be forced to retire at just the age of 26. And if you don't know how insane this actually is, please just listen to what Kobe had to say about him back in 2010.
That's a bad boy. And I think making it the second time just kind of solidifies yourself
in terms of being one of the premier players in the league. Great voice, high IQ basketball player. Understands the size, understands pace and tempo. I mean, he's ahead of his time.
And load management is the way to go, because if he wants to prolong his career, and if you guys want to watch him for longer, then this is what it's going to take. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new, and click the bell to be notified when I upload. Comment down below what you want to see next, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.